The small alien girl named Lyra walked slowly through the crowded alien market. Her tiny feet made almost no sound, and her delicate wings hung weakly behind her back. She looked too small for her age, too soft, too gentle. Every alien who crossed her path gave her the same cold look, pity mixed with rejection. Lyra tried to stay calm, but inside, she felt like a shadow nobody wanted. She stopped near a fruit stall. The alien vendor, a tall male with sharp eyes, looked down at her and sighed loudly. "Not again," he said, shaking his head. "Go away, little weakling. I told you yesterday, I cannot help you." Lyra bowed her head. "I only want a small job. Anything I can clean. Carry light things. Even help with your children." But the male laughed. "You carry. You can't even lift half your own weight." He waved his hand. "No one wants you. Not here. Not anywhere in this galaxy." People around them started staring. Some whispered cruel things. "She is too tiny. She looks sick. No male will ever choose her. She is useless." Lyra's wings trembled. She hugged her thin arms around her chest and tried to breathe. She felt like the whole galaxy was pushing her out of existence. A sharp wind blew through the streets. Dark clouds covered the sky as a storm approached. The market lights flickered. Traders closed their stalls quickly. The smell of rain filled the air. Lyra stood alone. The first drop of cold rain hit her cheek. Her eyes burned, but she didn't cry. She was used to being alone. She had been rejected since childhood. Even her own people avoided her. Her father disappeared when she was young, and her mother died sick, leaving Lyra with nothing but memories and her weak wings that never opened fully. The storm grew stronger. Rain hit her painfully. She ran to a metal walkway that led to the higher level of the market. The floor was wet and slippery. Her wings dragged behind her, heavy from the rain. Halfway across, she heard loud voices behind her. "Look, it's that useless tiny girl again. How is she still alive?" 3 alien males stood at the end of the walkway. They laughed loudly as they walked toward her. One shouted, "Even if someone gave her for free, no male would take her home." Lyra's heart twisted. She stepped back. The wind pushed against her body. Rain blurred her vision. Her foot slipped on the metal floor. She froze. She tried to spread her wings to balance herself, but they were too weak and soaked. She slipped again, her body tilted backward. She felt the empty air behind her, and then she fell. The world became silent. Wind rushed past her ears as she dropped from the high walkway toward the hard ground below. All she could think was, so this is the end. This is how a girl nobody wanted disappears. But before she hit the ground, strong arms caught her. A human man, tall and broad-shouldered, had sprinted from below. His grip was gentle but firm. He held her close to his chest, protecting her from the pounding rain. Lyra blinked in shock. She had never been this close to a human. She had heard humans were dangerous, unpredictable, too powerful. But this one looked at her with deep concern. "Hey." "I got you," the human said softly. His voice was warm, calm. "You're safe now." Lyra tried to speak, but her voice trembled. "Why? Why did you catch me?" "Because you were falling," he said simply. "And I don't let people fall." He wrapped his thick human jacket around her tiny, trembling body. Lyra gasped the moment the fabric touched her wings. No one had ever touched her wings gently. Her people considered wings sacred. No outsider should ever touch them. But somehow, his touch didn't feel wrong. It felt warm. Her heart beat fast with fear and confusion. The rain grew stronger. The walkway above shook in the storm. The 3 alien males disappeared, running away from the lightning. The human lifted her easily in his arms. "You're freezing. Come with me. I'll take you somewhere warm." Lyra's vision blurred. Her body felt too cold. She wanted to protest, but couldn't speak. Her eyelids felt heavy. The last thing she saw before she fainted was the human's face. Strong and strangely kind. A human she never met. A human she feared. A human who saved the girl no one wanted. And somewhere in that moment, her whole fate quietly changed. Lyra woke slowly, as if rising from a deep, heavy ocean. Her eyes fluttered open, and for a moment she didn't know where she was. The ceiling above her was smooth metal with soft lights. She blinked again. The air felt warm. A gentle smell like clean cloth and something sweet filled the room. She pushed herself up slightly. She was on a soft, human bed, wrapped in a large blanket that felt much too warm for her tiny body. Her wings were spread out naturally behind her for the first time in days. The pain in them was reduced, replaced by a gentle numbness. She remembered the storm, the walkway, the fall. The arms that caught her. She sat up quickly, fear rushing into her chest. On the other side of the room, the human who saved her was kneeling beside a heater, adjusting its temperature. He turned his head when he noticed her moving. "You're awake," he said softly. Lyra immediately pulled the blanket up to her chin. She didn't know what humans usually did with aliens. She didn't know why he saved her. She only knew that kindness always came with a cost in her world. The human stood and walked toward her slowly, making sure not to move too close. "Don't worry," he said. "You're safe here. You fainted outside, so I brought you to my shelter." His voice was calm, steady, gentle. She wasn't used to such a tone. Lyra's heartbeat slowed just a little. She looked around again. The room was simpler: small bed, a table, a heater, a tiny kitchen unit. But everything was clean. Everything looked human and warm. "Where am I?" she whispered. "This is my patrol station quarters," he answered. "My name is Ethan. I'm a human officer working on the trade routes." Lyra's fingers gripped the blanket tighter. A human officer. A person with authority. Someone strong enough to fight many aliens. She didn't know whether to feel safe or terrified. Seeing her fear, Ethan stepped back and sat on a chair, keeping a respectful distance. "You don't have to talk if you're scared," he said. "I won't force you." Force, that word made her chest tighten. She had seen many aliens force weak ones to do things. Sell them, push them, reject them. She lowered her eyes. Ethan reached toward the table and picked up a cup. "Here," he said, placing it near her on the bed. "Warm soup. Humans drink it to recover. No strange ingredients. Just simple broth." Lyra stared at the steaming cup. No one had offered her warm food in years. Most aliens refused to touch anything she touched. Some even threw things away instead of handing them to her. She slowly took the cup. Her hands shook. The warmth spread into her palms, and her eyes prickled with emotion she couldn't explain. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why are you helping me?" Ethan looked at her for a long moment. His expression wasn't pity. It wasn't curiosity. It was something steady, something honest. "Because you needed help," he said. "And because someone should have helped you before you fell." She swallowed hard. His answer was simple, but it hit her deeply. She wasn't used to being seen. She wasn't used to being valued. Most aliens treated her as if she didn't exist. But this human, he treated her as if she mattered. She took a small sip of the soup. It warmed her chest instantly. A soft sound escaped her lips, something between relief and disbelief. Ethan smiled slightly. Lyra looked away, embarrassed. "You don't have to be scared of me," Ethan said. "I'm not here to hurt you, only to help you." But Lyra knew something else. Kindness attracts danger. The galaxy was not a fair place. If someone saw a strong human officer caring for a tiny, rejected alien girl, it would draw attention. And attention always brought trouble. She placed the cup down carefully. "You should not keep me here," she whispered. "Aliens will talk. They will say things about you. They will punish you." Ethan leaned forward a little. "Let them talk. I'm not afraid." She shook her head quickly. "But I am?" There it was, the truth. She was scared of everything. Her own people, other species, even herself. Ethan's eyes softened. "Tell me what happened," he said. "Why was everyone shouting at you? Why did they treat you that way?" Lyra looked at her small hands. Her voice trembled. "Because I am tiny and weak. Because no alien male wants me. Because they think I am useless. My wings do not grow. My powers never woke. I am nothing to them." Ethan frowned, angry on her behalf. "That doesn't sound like nothing." Lyra lowered her head even more. "I am the girl no one wanted." Silence filled the room. Then Ethan said something she never expected. Then they were stupid. Lyra's head snapped up. "WY?" He stood slowly, pointing at her gently. "Anyone who cannot see your worth is blind. Anyone who laughed at you is a fool. You survived without them. That makes you stronger than they ever were." Her eyes widened. No one had ever defended her. No one had ever spoken for her. No one had ever lifted her up with words instead of pulling her down. Her heart fluttered. Unexpectedly, but before she could process her emotions, something sharp tapped the window. Ethan turned instantly. Outside the glass stood a shadowy alien figure, watching Lyra with cold, hateful eyes. Her breath froze. They had found her, and Ethan just stepped into a danger he did not even understand. The shadow at the window did not move. It simply stood there, silent, tall, and glowing faintly under the dim station lights. Lyra's breath hitched. Her wings folded tightly against her back. Her whole body shook as a cold memory rose in her mind. She knew that symbol on the stranger's chest, a spiral with two sharp lines. It belonged to the Council of Wings, the highest authority of her species. Ethan walked to the window and slid it open just a crack. Cold air rushed in. "Can I help you?" he asked firmly. The shadow stepped closer. Now his face was clear. His eyes were hard and bright, like polished stone. His voice had no warmth. "We are here for the girl," he said. "She belongs to us." Lyra dropped her gaze instantly. She felt small again, weak again. Like a mistake being collected, Ethan didn't move. She nearly died. No one helped her. "Why do you want her now?" The alien's eyes narrowed. "That is not your concern, human. She is a member of our kind, and she left without permission." "Left?" Ethan said with disbelief. "She was being bullied. She was alone. She is always alone," the alien replied sharply. "That is her place." Lyra's heart squeezed painfully. That sentence followed her all her life. "That is your place. You are meant to be unwanted." Before Ethan could respond, the alien stepped closer to the window, lowering his voice in a chilling tone. "And keeping her here is a violation. Return her, or the council will respond." Lyra forced herself to speak, her voice shaking. Please, do not fight." "I will go with them." Ethan turned toward her. "No, you don't want to go. I can see it." She hugged herself tighter. "I do not want trouble for you." "You're not trouble," Ethan said softly, but the council officer outside laughed. "She is trouble for everyone. Her mother was trouble. Her father ran away from her. She was born cursed. We told her many times, Lyra closed her eyes, as if his words were knives she had learned to endure. Ethan stepped closer to the window and spoke through clenched teeth. "You're not taking her." The alien smirked. "Humans fight so quickly. But this is not a fight you can win." Ethan shut the window and locked it. Lyra started trembling again. "You should not have refused them. They will not forget this. They will return with more officers." Ethan turned toward her, voice steady. "Then let them return. I won't hand you over. But why?" Lyra cried. "Why do you protect me? I am weak. I am unwanted. I am nothing." He took one step toward her and lowered his voice. "Because you deserve better." She stared at him, confused, her heart beating strangely fast. Before either of them could say another word, a loud sound echoed through the station. Boom. The lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling. The ground trembled slightly. Ethan rushed to the control panel and checked the cameras. His jaw tightened. Outside the station, 3 council ships hovered low, their engines glowing a deep red. A group of elite winged guards marched toward the door. Armored and holding glowing staffs, Lyra covered her mouth, terrified. They brought guards. For me, Ethan frowned. This isn't about you being weak. They're hiding something. Lyra shook her head quickly. No, they just want me to disappear. I am ashamed to them. But Ethan wasn't convinced. You don't send elite squads for a small, harmless girl. A loud knock shook the door. Bang, bang. "Bang. Open this door, human." A voice thundered. "This is your final warning." Lyra backed up until her wings touched the wall. "They will drag me. They will punish me. Please let me go, Ethan. If you fight them, they will hurt you too." Ethan walked closer and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "I won't let anyone harm you." She stared at him, tears gathering in her eyes. "No one has ever said that to me." The door shook again. Bang. Ethan moved to a storage compartment and took out a small, round device. He unlocked the top, and a blue shield flickered around the room for a moment before disappearing from sight. "What is that?" Lyra whispered. "A barrier signal," Ethan said. "It will block their scanners for a few minutes. Enough for us to escape." "Escape?" she asked weakly. "Why escape for someone like me?" Ethan looked into her eyes and spoke with a soft, steady strength. "Because you're not someone like they say. You're someone worth protecting." Her breath caught. Something warm spread through her chest, something she had never felt before. But there was no time. The council guards started burning through the door with strong energy tools. The metal began to melt. Ethan grabbed Lyra's small hand. "Come with me." Her heart pounded. He wasn't rescuing her out of pity. He was rescuing her because to him, she mattered. And as the door began to break, Lyra took her first brave step away from the council, away from the life of rejection, and toward a future she never imagined. The door screamed as hot metal bent inward. Blue sparks flew across the floor. Lyra squeezed Ethan's hand tighter. Her wings trembled so hard she could barely breathe. "They're coming through," she whispered. Ethan kept his voice calm, steady. "We still have time. Stay close to me." He pulled her toward a narrow back hallway that led deeper into the patrol station. The emergency lights flickered red, throwing long shadows across the walls. Every sound, the hum of wires, the distant footsteps, the echo of guards shouting felt sharper, louder, more dangerous. Lyra's heart pounded painfully. She had run before, but she had never run with someone who refused to let her go. As they reached the end of the hallway, Ethan pressed his hand against a panel. A hidden door slid open, revealing a narrow maintenance shaft. Lyra froze. "Down there? It looks too dark." It's the only path they don't know, Ethan replied. Trust me. She swallowed hard. Trust, a word she never used, a feeling she never allowed. But when she looked at Ethan, his steady eyes told her something she couldn't ignore. He was not afraid of protecting her. She stepped inside. The maintenance shaft dipped steeply downward. Ethan slid behind her and sealed the door. Their world turned pitch black for a moment until he switched on a small wrist light. The beam glowed against the metal walls, dim but enough to guide them. Outside, the main door finally crashed open. Lyra covered her mouth to silence her gasp. Heavy footsteps thundered through the station. Find the girl. She cannot escape. The council demands her return. Their voices were sharp and unforgiving. Lyra leaned closer to Ethan. Why do they want me so badly now? They ignored me all my life. Ethan glanced at her. Because now you're with someone who cares. And that scares them. She blinked. But why would that scare them? Ethan didn't answer immediately. He looked deep in thought. Because someone like you, someone gentle, someone different, might grow stronger with support. They don't want that. Lyra shook her head. But I am weak. Maybe you're not, Ethan said quietly. Maybe they only want you to believe that. His words felt like a warm light in her chest. They continued moving through the shaft until they reached a junction where two paths split. Ethan stopped and checked his wrist device. They already blocked the left path, he murmured. We'll take the right. He guided her gently through the narrow tunnel until they reached a large circular chamber filled with old pipes and machinery. A faint humming sound echoed. This used to be an old cargo exit, Ethan explained. If we reach the end, we can slip out before the guards surround us. Lyra nodded, but then her eyes widened. Ethan, look. A glowing orb floated in the corner of the chamber. It expanded slowly, turning into a hologram. The face of a council elder appeared, an old alien with wide wings and cold eyes. Human, the projection said sharply. Return the girl immediately. She is dangerous. Lyra stepped back in shock. Dangerous? Me? The elder continued, ignoring her. She is unstable. Her presence with a human threatens the balance of our kind. Ethan stepped in front of her protectively. She hasn't harmed anyone. You left her to suffer. She is cursed, the elder snapped. Her mother carried forbidden blood. Her father was exiled before she was born. The child must remain under our control. She will bring disaster. Lyra felt dizzy. Forbidden blood. Exiled father. These were things she never knew. Her voice trembled. Is that true? The elder's expression did not soften. You are a danger to yourself and others. Your existence is a shame. Ethan's fists tightened. You're lying to control her? Humans know nothing, the elder hissed. But you will learn soon. We are sending more forces. You cannot hide forever. The hologram flickered away. Silence filled the chamber. Lyra sank to her knees, shaking. Ethan, is it true? Am I cursed? Ethan knelt beside her. I don't care about their stories. But I know one thing, you're not dangerous. You're hurting. And they want to keep you that way. She looked up at him, tears forming. Why do you protect me? You don't even know me. Ethan wiped a droplet from her cheek with gentle fingers. I know enough. I know you're kind. I know you never deserved the pain they gave you. And I know you're not alone anymore. Her heart fluttered painfully. No one had ever said such words to her. No one had ever held her with care instead of fear. Before she could speak, the ground shook violently. Boom! Dust rained from the ceiling. They're breaking into the lower levels, Ethan said urgently. We need to move now. He grabbed her hand again and pulled her toward the far corridor. Lyra forced herself to run, her small legs moving as fast as she could. Behind them, distant voices echoed, "Find the girl. Don't let the human escape. She must be captured before her power awakens." Her power. Lyra stumbled at the words. Ethan supported her quickly. "Don't listen. Keep moving." But Lyra's mind was spinning. Power, awaken. Nothing made sense, and yet, deep inside her chest, a small spark fluttered, a strange warmth she never felt before. Something that responded to Ethan's presence. Something the council feared. Something that was waking. Asterisk. The tunnel narrowed as Ethan guided Lyra deeper into the old cargo system. Dust rose around their feet with every step, and the lights above flickered weakly, as if the station itself were struggling to survive. Lyra's breaths came fast. She tried to focus on moving, one step at a time. But her mind kept circling around one thing: her power must awaken. The council's words echoed painfully inside her head. Power. She had no power. She was always weak, always small, always useless. She was the girl no one wanted. "What does it mean?" she whispered. "Why would they say that? What power? I don't have any." Ethan slowed his pace and glanced back at her. His face was calm, but his eyes held concern. "Lyra, what do you remember about your mother or your father?" She shook her head. "Nothing important. My mother died when I was 5. She always hid me inside our home. She said the others would hurt me if they saw too much of me. And your father, I never saw him. They told me he left because I brought shame to the clan." She paused. "They said he didn't want a child like me." Ethan frowned. "That sounds like a lie." Lyra blinked. "Why would they lie?" "Because people lie most when they are afraid," Ethan said. "And the council is terrified of something." She hugged her arms, confused, terrified. "Of me?" Ethan didn't answer immediately. That scared her more. They reached a large circular chamber with broken machinery and old crates. Ethan stopped to check the map on his wrist device again. Lyra looked around nervously. She could hear distant footsteps echoing from above. The council guards were closing in. "Ethan," she whispered, "if I really have some power they fear, then maybe it's dangerous for you to stay near me." Ethan turned to her fully, his voice firm. "Lyra, you are not dangerous to me. I choose to be here." Her wings trembled behind her. The simple certainty in his voice wrapped around her like warmth. She stared at him, trying to understand how someone who barely knew her could speak with such strength on her behalf. But before she could respond, Ethan's wrist device beeped softly. He frowned. There's movement directly ahead. Someone's in the next chamber. Lyra stiffened. Ethan stepped in front of her protectively and moved toward the passage. A faint humming sound filled the air, like energy being bent, shaped, controlled as they entered the next room. Lyra gasped. Floating in the center was a glowing sphere the size of a human head. Blue light pulsed inside it like a heartbeat. Runes' ancient symbols spun gently around its surface. Lyra recognized it instantly. A memory core. She whispered. Ethan looked confused. "What is it?" "It stores the past," she said quietly. "Only higher-ranking families have access to these. They hold truth." The moment she stepped closer, the core reacted. The runes sped up. The glow brightened. Ethan pulled her back gently. "Careful," but Lyra shook her head. "No, it's calling me." The core floated closer on its own, almost sensing her. Ethan kept his hand near his weapon, but didn't interfere. When Lyra lifted her hand, the core touched her palm, and blue light flash, the room disappeared. Lyra saw her mother, beautiful, strong wings, bright like silver fire. She was arguing with several council elders. "She will be powerful," her mother said. "Her gift will awaken. You fear her because she is different." An elder shouted back, "Your daughter is dangerous. Humans cannot know of her existence." Humans? Why humans? Then another imaged a tall man with sharp eyes and golden markings. Her father, running through a forest with baby Lyra in his arms. "Forgive me," he whispered to the infant. "They will try to use you. You must survive, even if I cannot." Then flames, screams. The council attacking, trying to kill him, trying to take Lyra. The vision shattered. Lyra gasped as she fell to her knees, breath trembling. The memory core dimmed and dropped to the ground, silent now. Ethan knelt beside her. "Lyra, what happened? What did you see?" Tears streamed down her cheeks. They lied. Everything was a lie. My father didn't leave me. He tried to save me. My mother fought for me. They called me dangerous because I'm different. Ethan touched her shoulder gently. "Different doesn't mean dangerous." "But they fear what I can become," she whispered. "They fear that with someone like you beside me, I might grow stronger." Ethan held her gaze. "And they're right." She looked up, confused. "Right? You're already stronger," he said quietly. "You survived all their cruelty. You're still here. That alone scares them." Lyra wiped her tears. "But what is my power?" Before Ethan could answer, the chamber shook violently. Boom! Stone cracked above them. Dust fell like rain. Voices echoed from the tunnel's find. "The girl, she has activated the memory core. Hurry, before she awakens." Ethan pulled Lyra to her feet. "We need to move. Now." Lyra nodded, still shaken, but now filled with something new. Not fear, not weakness, but a quiet, burning strength. For the first time in her life, she knew the truth. She wasn't unwanted. She wasn't cursed. She wasn't weak. She was a threat to those who controlled her people. And with Ethan beside her, her true power was no longer sleeping. It was waking. The tunnels grew colder as Ethan and Lyra moved deeper into the old cargo system. The sprinkling dust settled on their clothes and wings. Every echo behind them felt sharper, every distant footstep, every shouted order. The council guards were no longer searching quietly. They were hunting. Lyra held Ethan's hand tightly. Her heart felt strange, heavy with fear, but also warm with courage she never had before. The truth she learned from the memory core still burned in her mind. Her parents did not abandon her. Her power was real. The council feared her potential. And now, the entire galaxy was moving to take her back. Ethan glanced behind them, listening to the sounds of boots echoing through the metal passages. "They're trailing us fast," he said. "We need to reach the dock before they block it." Lyra nodded, but her wings trembled with emotion. "Ethan, if they catch me, they will punish you too. They may even kill you." Ethan gave her a steady look. "Then we just won't let them catch us." She swallowed, feeling that same strange warmth again. Ethan wasn't afraid of her past. He wasn't afraid of the council. He wasn't afraid of protecting her. The more he stayed by her side, the war wheeled my stick. The stronger she felt, like something inside her chest was waking up with every step. They reached a wide junction filled with broken containers and rusted metal tools. Ethan stopped and pulled out a small screen from his belt. A map flickered to life. "The exit tunnel is 2 levels down," he said. "But the council ships are already landing outside. They're surrounding the station." Lyra tensed. "We are trapped." "No," Ethan said, shaking his head. "There's always another way. We just need to find it." Before they could move again, a sudden blast shook the tunnel. Boom! The metal beams above them rattled violently. One fell to the floor with a loud crash, almost hitting Lyra. Ethan pulled her back just in time. A group of armored council guards marched into the opposite corridor. Glowing staffs raised. Their wings were large and bright, unlike Lyra's small ones. Their footsteps were cold and confident. There they are. One shouted, "The girl and the human traitor." Ethan stepped in front of Lyra instantly, shield raised, body tense. "Only over my dead body," he growled. Lyra grabbed his arm. "Ethan, please, do not fight them alone." He looked back at her with the calmest expression she had ever seen. "I'm not alone. You're with me?" Her breath caught. Before the guards could strike, Ethan threw a small device on the ground. Smoke burst into the air, filling the tunnel with thick white fog. He grabbed Lyra, pulling her toward a narrow service ladder hidden behind a pipe cluster. "Up here," he whispered. Lyra climbed quickly. Her wings brushed the metal rungs. Ethan followed right behind. Below them, the guards coughed and shouted inside the smoke. "Spread out, find them. She cannot escape." As they reached the upper platform, the smoke cleared just enough for Lyra to look down. The guards swarmed the chamber like angry beasts. One of them pointed upward. They went up, after them. Ethan pulled her away. They ran through a long walkway leading toward an emergency hatch. But halfway across, lights above their heads turned red. A cold voice echoed through the speakers. "Attention. By order of the council, all exits are sealed. Subject Lyra must be captured alive." Lyra froze. Her heart dropped. They knew her name. They had the whole station under control. She wasn't just a girl they didn't want anymore. She was a target. Ethan grabbed her shoulders. "Don't listen to them. We're close. Just one hatch left." She nodded weakly and followed him. Another explosion rocked the walkway. The floor split. Metal cracked. Lyra screamed as the walkway tilted downward. Ethan caught her again, pulling her up before she fell into the dark hole below. She landed against his chest, shaking. He held her for a moment. "I've got you, always." Her eyes softened. "Why are you risking all this for me?" "Because someone should have protected you long ago," he said softly. "Because you deserve better than the pain they gave you." His words went deeper than he knew. They reached a part of her heart that had been dead for years. As they approached the final hatch, Lyra felt something stir inside. Hers something powerful, warm, and bright. The air around her wings shimmered faintly. She looked at Ethan nervously. "My chest. It feels hot, like something is burning inside." Ethan slowed down, studying her. Not burning. Awakening. Lyra swallowed. "But what if it hurts you?" Ethan smiled gently. "Lyra, nothing about you scares me." His words shook her to the core. They reached the hatch, but suddenly, it slammed shut with a deafening clang. Heavy locks sealed it from the outside. Lyra's heart sank. So did Ethan's face. Behind them, footsteps grew louder, closer. Faster, they were surrounded. The council guards blocked the corridor. More appeared behind them. Lyra's wings curled in fear. Ethan raised his shield again, ready to fight a battle he knew was hopeless. One guard stepped forward. His voice cold and sharp. "Give us the girl. She belongs to us." Lyra stepped back, trembling, but Ethan didn't move. "No," he said. "She belongs to no one." The guards lifted their weapons. Lyra felt her heartbeat explode in her chest, fast, wild, powerful. Her wings glowed faintly. Her true power was coming, awakening right before the whole galaxy. And the one human who saw her worth. The corridor shook with tension. The glowing staffs of the council guards painted sharp blue lines across the walls. Lyra stood frozen between them and Ethan, her tiny wings trembling violently. The air around her felt heavier, warmer. like something invisible was pressing against her chest from the inside. Ethan stepped in front of her again, shield raised. He knew he was outnumbered, but he didn't move back even once. The guards began to close in, feet clicking against metal, their wings broad and confident. "Human," the lead guard said coldly, "this is your final chance. Step aside." Ethan's voice was steady. "No, then you will fall." Several guards raised their staffs at the same time, the blue energy building, humming with deadly intention. Lyra single quotes us, heart stopped. "Ethan," she cried, grabbing his arm. He looked back at her briefly. In that 1 second, his eyes said everything. "I'm not afraid. You matter. I won't abandon you." But Lyra had already lost too much in her life. She would not lose him, too. "Stop!" She screamed. Her voice wasn't loud. But the air listened to her. A sudden, powerful vibration burst through the corridor. The lights flickered wildly. The walls hummed. A pulse worm, bright, alive, exploded from Lyra's chest, spreading outward like a wave of golden wind. Ethan shielded his eyes. The guards staggered back. The staffs flickered, then died. The glow around Lyra grew brighter. Her wings stretched wide, wider than ever before, glowing with soft golden light. She didn't understand what was happening, but she felt no fear. Instead, she felt whole, complete, alive to her power, silent. Her whole life had finally awakened. The guards stared at her with horror. "It has begun." One whispered, "She is the wing of dawn." Another breathlessly said, "The lost one." Lyra stepped forward. Her feet felt light, almost floating, but she moved with calm strength. "I am not cursed," she said quietly, her voice echoing through the hall. "My parents didn't shame me. You lied. You feared me." The lead guard hissed, lifting his staff again. "You do not know how to control your power. You will destroy everything." "No," Lyra whispered. "I will protect what matters." Her light flared once more. The corridor filled with warm energy that pushed the guards backwards, not hurting them, but forcing them away. Their armor rattled as they slid across the floor. Ethan stared at her in awe. "Lyra, you're incredible." She looked back at him, her heart pounding not from fear, but from something new, something soft and warm that only he made her feel. "I didn't know," she said. "I didn't know I could do this." "You always could," Ethan replied. "They just never let you believe it." The guards struggled to stand. One shouted, "Capture her before she stabilizes." But when they rushed forward, Lyra instinctively lifted her hands. Golden light streamed from her palms like flowing ribbons. It wrapped around the guards, freezing them in place, not trapping them with pain, but with a gentle force that held them still. They could not move. They could not attack. They could only watch as the small, unwanted girl showed the power they tried to bury. Ethan moved beside her. "We need to get out while they're stuck." Lyra nodded and focused her energy. The hatch locks clicked open one by one, melting under her glowing power. She pushed the door gently, and it swung wide, revealing the open sky of the landing port. Cold air hit them. Stars glittered far above. Several council ships hovered in formation, but they did not fire. They were afraid. Lyra stepped out slowly. Ethan followed, watching the ships carefully. Lyra lifted a hand. Golden light spiraled around her fingers, rising into the air like fireflies. The ship's engines powered down. Their weapons dimmed. Their pilots felt something in that light peace, not battle. The war they expected never came. Instead, they watched the girl they rejected all her life become something brighter than any of them. Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did it." She looked at him, eyes soft. "No, Ethan, we did it." Their escape path lay open. Ethan guided her toward his small patrol ship. Lyra hesitated and turned one last time toward the galaxy that hurt her for so long. "I'm not the girl no one wanted anymore," she said quietly. "Because someone wanted me. Even when I thought I had nothing to give." Tay touched her cheek gently. "You have more to give than anyone ever saw." Lyra's wings fluttered softly. "Ethan, why did you help me? Why did you fight for me?" He gave a soft smile, the kind she never saw on another face. "Because you're worth fighting for. Because you matter. Because I care." Her heart fluttered. The warmth inside her power felt different now, softer, sweeter. She took a small step closer. "You are the first person who saw me, who believed in me. And you're the bravest person I've ever met," Ethan whispered. Lyra lifted her small hand and placed it in his dot. Their fingers fit together perfectly. As they stepped into the ship, leaving behind the galaxy that rejected her and entering a new life, Lyra realized something she never dared to dream. She wasn't unwanted. She wasn't cursed. She wasn't alone. She found love where she never expected. In the heart of a human who refused to let her fall. And together, they flew into a future where no counsel, no fear, and no lie would ever bury her light again. The girl no one wanted finally became the girl truly cherished.